Hey, we all know couples who fight about money. In fact, you may personally be in a relationship where finances are a source of tension. It's no mystery why these kinds of conflicts are so common. Money fuels our ability to take care of ourselves and our dependents. Managing it requires discipline and a plan, but often couples don't see eye to eye on what that means.
Yeah, that's right. We are joined by certified financial planner Will Rogers to talk about how couples can be on the same page with money. On this Valentine's Day, we're going to talk about how to have an honest and productive conversation with your spouse. Hi, Will.
Yes. Oh, good to be here. And Natalia, you nailed it. Having an honest and productive conversation with your spouse is the heart of everything we're going to be talking about today.
That's right. So what are the main areas couples should discuss?
So as they're sitting down to see what makes sense, first off, they want to take a look at how their expenses are actually managed. Once they look at how they're doing that, they want to look at what are today's financial priorities, the short-term stuff. Then you take a look at what are your long-term goals. And then the final area I want to talk about is just making sure that the proper paperwork is in place so that you can get to your short and long-term goals and have things work the way you want them to.
Okay, sounds pretty easy. Yeah. What are some approaches to expense management?
So with expense management, there's different approaches, and it's not that one's better than another. It's that you pick one that you're comfortable with. So you could have all your accounts combined and have everything going there. You may have separate accounts where there's one spouse has one account, the other spouse has their own account. It might be a blend where you still have your individual accounts, but there's one shared account for the core expenses, say the mortgage and the utilities and stuff, but you've got your own separate accounts for fun money or whatever discretionary expenses you want to do. It works really well, but the key is to live within your means and have absolute transparency. So even though this is, quote, your account, it's very much okay for your spouse to look at your account to see what you're spending money on. It should be very much okay for you to look at their account and see what they're spending money on. Not quibble about it, not poke them in the eye. Oh, how much money did you spend on bubble gum this month? Yeah. No, not that. But just have that transparency where everybody can see what's going on.
Yeah, don't hide money from your better half.
Yeah. Be open about it. Well, hopefully you both are on the same page, because one could be open about it and the other one's like, that's for my eyes.
And I'm sorry, if you're not open about it, what are you hiding from your spouse? And so that's where that communication and that open and transparency, have it there. And again, don't poke them in the eye about how much money you spend on bubble gum, but let them see how much money you spent on bubble gum.
Right. And Will, how should you determine today's financial priorities?
So you want to take a look at what's going on, and you want to talk about them frequently, because priorities change. They shouldn't change hour by hour, but they may change season by season as things come up. What are the big purchases that are coming? Is there a car or a house in the future? There might be some fun money where my very first word was boat. I want to buy another boat, but I talked to Lacey about the boat that I hope to buy next. Having those different things. There might be vacations that are coming up, but having that communication about what is the priority and how much you all should be setting aside towards those expenses.
And when you're talking about it,
go ahead.
Sorry.
I was just going to say that we're waiting on an invite to go on.
I know, when you get that boat. And I was like, when you're talking about those expenses and those goals, right, that you want to reach, a boat, what long-term goals should couples be discussing?
There's the big ones of, retirement. If you got a young couple, there might be education for their children. Sometimes they're looking at a second home. But another part of the conversation should be the legacy and what should happen if either or both should die, and having a conversation around that. So there's the big goals of retirement. What do you want that life to look like? But all these little pieces come together, and making sure if you're talking about being on the water in retirement, well, water to some people means an ocean beach. Water to other folks means mountain lake. So just because you both want to be on the water, there's different water.
Yeah, got to have those tough conversations too. Yeah,
right.
For sure. Real quick, what paperwork should couples have in place?
There's several things. So the fundamental one is I think all your accounts should be joint accounts. Even if it's your primary account that you're using, if you're sick or in the hospital, joint allows your spouse to step in and take over the bills and cover things if needed. You want to have beneficiary designations on all your accounts, so if something happens to you, it goes where it needs to be. You want to have a financial power of attorney, so if you're in the hospital and your spouse needs to step in, they can. You want to have the medical power of attorney, and then most importantly, you want to have a will. Not me, but a legal document that in the event of your death, there's a letter to the probate court saying, well, yeah, I'd like my stuff to go to my spouse, to my kids, to my church, wherever that might be. Having that instruction in place is really important.
Okay, a lot to keep in mind and a lot to consider. Maybe you'll have this discussion, if not today on Valentine's Day, maybe you'll just do it tomorrow and get through the day today. It's a tough topic.
Get through the day today, but
Yes.
have this as seeds for thought, because Valentine, we're celebrating a day of love, but love your spouse in a way that you can be open and transparent about what's going on. The truth of it, money reveals our biggest fears, our concerns, and our biggest hopes and aspirations. So just share those with your spouse.
There we go.
Will, thanks so much.
Thank
And if you
you.
would like more information, we have Will's information right there on your screen, wrogers.info, and a number to call.